I didn't even really watch the Oscars in its entirety. I just saw the highlights because I really don't care about it. But you know who does care about the Oscars?
Me?
No, Donald freaking Trump. In an interview with Breitbart, he had this to say about the famed Oscar flub revolving Moonlight and La La Land. I think they were focused so hard on politics that they didn't get the act together at the end. It was a little sad. It took away from the glamour of the Oscars. It didn't feel like a very glamorous evening. I've been to the Oscars. There was something very special missing, and to that end, the end that way was sad. I just misread that completely on the last part. But I love that he has to mention that he's been to the Oscars. Like, it's a very Donald Trumpian thing to do, is just like, oh, I've been to the Oscars. Like, you know that guy? Everyone has a friend who's just like, can't stop bragging. That's Donald Trump. Like, nonstop. He's just everything. Like, remember when a couple weeks back he was talking about Abraham Lincoln, and then in a statement and saying like Abraham Lincoln was attacked by the press mercilessly as well, drawing a connection between himself and Abraham Lincoln, and then mentioned his birthday sneakily in there. Like, it's just so weird. He has to always.
Oh yeah, I do know what you're talking about.
He always has to make it about himself, and this is literally what he's doing. He's like, oh, there was something going on in the Oscars, and it wasn't about me, so let's talk about what really matters, me.
So a couple things that stick out to me about this story. The first one is that we're going to start seeing him move towards publications like Breitbart and Fox and Friends, for where he will agree to speak to, like, press publications that
Absolutely.
he agrees with already. So that's interesting about this interview. The second thing is that it's pretty obvious that he felt a little bit left out. And like that he's always wanted to be, he started, Celebrity Apprentice. He's always wanted to be around celebrities, and he was a business tycoon, but he loved rubbing elbows with the rich and the famous. So having Hollywood slight him most recently, the past couple of months, especially in awards season, has really gotten under his skin, which we're seeing. And so I knew he couldn't resist, and it's interesting that he's doing with Breitbart. The third thing, and I guess I would want your take on this, I didn't really think this year's Oscars were especially political. Jimmy Kimmel sort of addressed it, basically saying at the top, of course the country's divided. I think we should speak to each other as not as liberals or conservatives, but as Americans. And then he went on like, I'm going to reach out to someone now that I disagree with. And they talked about Matt Damon. Like, they really moved past politics. You have to address it. Every award show, you're going to address what the political climate is in the country. That's not out of the ordinary. But I didn't think this was especially politics heavy. And in the speeches, there wasn't...
Not according to Tommy Lauren.
Well, okay. Well, we can get into that. But the speeches were far more about unity and sort of blanket generalized unity than they were pointed political rhetoric. Like at the Golden Globes when Meryl Streep really called out Donald Trump. There wasn't anyone, there was a lot of sort of broad strokes being painted here.
I think you're kind of right, but also very wrong in a lot of ways. I think talking about unity is still like inherently a political statement, because they're saying that the government is divisive and that united we will stand against this oppressive government, and therefore it's still somewhat of a political statement. But what I wanted to say is the most important and the most political thing that anyone could have ever done is the astronaut Anousheh Ansari reading in place of the Iranian director Asghar Farhadi's movie, The Salesman, that won Best Foreign Movie. He didn't attend the Oscars in protest of the travel ban. He's a UTA client, and then UTA went forward and said, we're not going to have a regular Oscars party, and instead we're going to hold a rally called the United Voices Rally. I was there. It was awesome. Like, they had Gavin Newsom come and speak. They had Reza Aslan. Like, Asghar had a speech prepared for that, for the United Voices Rally. And I think that's an incredibly political statement. And then his speech was also very political. He didn't address Mr. Trump directly, but he talked about the Muslim ban and how ridiculous it is.
I like the omission of not saying Trump's name. I was a little bit nervous about making it too much about him, because I don't want to give him that satisfaction, because as we know, he's always going to be watching. He can't wait to talk about it and be like, oh, everyone's obsessed with me. So I did like that the language that was being used was not focused so much on him and his administration, and focused more on the work at hand and addressing the current climate.
If there's one way to really piss off Donald Trump, it's not mentioning Donald Trump, because as you can see time and time again, that's the one thing he cares about the most, which is I mean, and his fascination with celebrity culture, which you addressed perfectly, it has been around since, his early days. He actually attended, he briefly considered attending University of South California as their film school in his youth, and he's been in so many movies. He's been on TV shows. He has a star in the Walk of Fame. Like, Donald Trump is very much a celebrity icon in some ways, and it's especially ironic to me, and I've addressed this on many of my Tommy Lauren videos, but especially ironic to me when people on the right are like, oh, snowflake Hollywood, like liberal Hollywood, shut up, you elitists, and it's like, but then you also went and elected a celebrity wannabe who's not even like good enough. Yeah, who's not even good enough to be a celebrity. He just like really desperately wants to be one, and almost kind of became president just to be in the forefront of everyone's conversations. Like, how sad is that? Well, he's fucking our country. It's sad. It's sad, but it's also terrifying because he's putting his dick inside of our country right now. He put a hole in the Constitution. He's fucking it with his tiny penis. I went to a very weird place there, but we want to hear from you guys. Do you really think Donald Trump is a attention whore, or maybe let's not use those words. I feel like no, I'm gonna use those words. Fuck it. Do you really think Donald Trump is a attention whore? Leave us your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to us if you like this video. I'm Hasan Grace, this is Grace Baldridge, and we'll see you next time on Pop Trigger.